Alrighty, well, here's another one, day 11 and 12. And we will spend 2 days for this particular learning target because we're going to talk about parallel and perpendicular lines. So that was something we actually learned maybe a couple weeks before spring break. And I think will be a good review for you guys to remember what's the difference between parallel perpendicular lines, how do we recognize that. So we will start with the learning target first, and then we will say that parallel lines will be two lines that they never intersect, and the distance between points that goes from one line through another are always equal. So the distance from here to here, from here to here, from here to here is always equal. They do not cross, do not intersect, and they could go this way, that way, horizontal, vertically, and most importantly, when we have parallel lines, their slope are always the same. Because if you have steepness of the line going this way and another line going this way, then the slope will be exactly the same, right? Their equation overall in place is not the same, but the steepness of the line going up the hill, down the hill, or just down the ground for a zero slope, for example, is the same. Perpendicular lines are the lines that when they intersect, they form right angle. So it's not just two lines to cross, but when they cross, they form this right angle 90 degrees over here. And when we talk about perpendicular lines, we talk about opposite reciprocal slopes. Here's an example. Parallel lines with the same slopes, they will have an equations. We will have two equations. First equation is y equals 3x plus 5. Second equation is y equals 3x minus 6. What makes those two equations parallel lines? Well, the slope. 3 and 3, exactly the same. When we have perpendicular lines, the opposite reciprocal of the slope. So if one slope is 1 over 5, the opposite of this positive slope will be negative, and also reciprocal will be, we flip the numbers, so 5 over 1. And when we have equations like this given, this is what you need to check. Always look to the slope and think about, is this opposite reciprocal slope? Is it the same one, or maybe neither? We may not have parallel or perpendicular. We may have just two lines that cross each other like this. And they're not neither parallel or perpendicular. Okay, so first example. Write an equation of the line perpendicular to another line. So when you have given something like that, this is line 1. Okay, the equation for line 1 is given for you. Now, the equation is not given in slope-intercept form. We don't know what y equals to. So we gotta use this equation and solve it for y first. So step 1, solve the equation for y. Solve for y. So negative 4x plus 2y equals 6. Plus 4x on each side, plus 4x. Remember, when we solve equations, we isolate x term, move it to the other side. We will get 2y is equal to 4x plus 6. Then we will divide it by 2. Each one of the terms, don't miss one of them. It has to be division between all of them. And we cancel, so y will be equal to 4 divided by 2 is 2x, 6 divided by 2 will be plus 3. This is the equation of line 1, so we're still on line 1. We're only halfway down, okay? And the question is about perpendicular. So the slope of the perpendicular line will be, we're using this one is positive, the opposite will be negative. This one is the same as 2 over 1, right? So the reciprocal of this will be 1 over 2. Once we get our slope, then we can write the point, negative 10 and 5, use this information in point slope form and calculate second line equation. So y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. That will be y minus y1 is 5 equals to m is negative 1/2 times x minus negative 10. So we continue solving. Y minus 5 is equal to negative 1/2 x, the two negatives change to plus 10. Then we will apply distributive property here. So y minus 5 is equal to negative 1/2 x, and negative 1/2 times n will be negative 5. Again, you will get this on the calculator. Negative 1 divided by 2 times 10. That's the order to place on the calculator. Then we will plus 5 on each side. Those two cancel, so y equals negative 1 over 2x plus 0. Negative 5 plus 5 is 0. So that will be the equation of line 2. Always, when you are given job to find perpendicular or parallel lines, you will have two equations. First one will be of the first line, and second equation will be of the second line. Once you have the two equations, then you can graph it. And I will sketch one quick graph over here. Hopefully will be accurate one. This is x and y, so you can see what's going on. And I will first plot this equation. So this is b, y-intercept positive 3 will be right here. So that will be the first. Then the slope is 1, 2 over 1. And then we have 1, 2 over 1. 1, 2 over 1 here. 1, 2 over 1. So I'm trying kind of to 1, 2 over 1 without graphing paper to make up this to look fine. Connect those two. In the second equation, b is 0. So b is 0, which means my first point will be exactly right here at 0. And then we will do negative 1 over half. So negative 1 over 2, negative 1 over 2, negative 1 over 2, and here negative 1 over 2 will be this point, negative 1 over 2 will be right here, 1 over 2, and we can keep going, but I think those points are enough when we connect them and to get this perpendicular line intersection between the two lines. Okay, well, let's see. I think I do have another example. And the next example that we're going to talk about will be for parallel lines. So parallel lines, write an equation of the line parallel to another line. Imagine you have given this equation for line 1. Y plus 10 equals negative 4 and times x minus 2. So from this equation, what information you can get? Well, you can get the slope, which is negative 4, and you can also write down the points. You would not need those points because you already have given point for from the second line, but I just want you to practice and think about what will be the x1 and y1 here from this equation. So x1 will be what? And remember, we always write the opposite sign of what is given. So if this is negative 2, then we will write positive 2. y1 will be, if this is positive 10, then we will write negative 10. Okay, so that was just practice, little practice of writing points from this equation. Next thing, we're going to use the slope. So parallel lines, the slope for parallel lines is equal, right? So if this is m equals negative 4, then my second line slope is also negative 4, and we have negative 1 and 6 for the points. So let's go ahead and substitute. Will be y minus 6 equals to negative 4 x plus 1. So we're using point slope form to substitute the coordinates and the slope, and we will solve it. So those two will multiply. Y minus 6 is equal to negative 4x. Negative 4 times 1 is minus 4. Then we're going to add 6 to each side. Those two cancel, so y equals negative 4x plus 2. There you go. This is our second equation. So now let's go ahead and draw the lines. So here's my graph. And the first equation, I'm gonna use the point that we just wrote down here for the graph, 2 and negative 10. So let's imagine negative 10 for y is probably somewhere here. Let's say this is negative 10. And 2 will be right here. So my point is right there. And I will apply the slope negative 4 over 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. This will be 1 point. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. This will be another 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. Let's say I'm really, this is not the best accurate picture, but you get the idea. Negative 4 over 1 slope will going down, and because the point I picked over here is my first point on the graph, so I could have applied the slope from this point and just keep going until I get the idea where the line located. And then we have y equals negative 4x plus 2, so b will be right here for this equation, and negative 4 again over 1 will be 1 4 over 1, 1 2 3 4 over 1, 4 over 1, 4 over 1. So if we keep going, we have those lines, and when we connect all the lines, we get the location or approximate location of the two parallel lines. Definitely on the test you will have your graph paper, everything that you need to, or the picture will be displayed for you, so you don't have to do or try to manage all those coordinates. You will be provided with this information, and you will do well. I believe so. So, thank you again for watching this video. Have a great day, and we'll take all the questions online through the discussion board or face-to-face in class.